Hey guys, it's your girl Victoria back to you with another review for Married at First Sight, Season 15, Episode 13, called The Ugly Truth. Like I said, the second half of the season is where I start to kind of be drained from the season because, they always be having like 20,000 episodes per season. So we're at that point where I'm just like, okay, we're going to keep talking about the same things over and over, I see, and it's never going to change. It's back and forth. But we still gonna review it. We still watching it. So let's just start from the beginning. Lindy and Miguel, they say bye to McGindy. And I know Lindy happy from what she talking about. She's like so ready to just leave the baby at the door, give it back to whoever, put it on the front doorstep. And then we have Morgan. She talking about she's so tired of being sad. Morgan, please, we really don't have time for you this episode. Stasha and Nate, they're doing face masks. Mitch and Kristen, they're doing face masks. I don't remember what Alexis and Justin were doing, but it wasn't relevant. And we get to Kristen meeting up with Mitch's sister-in-law, Stephanie, to talk about how the relationship is going, Kristen's concerns, all that good schmo stuff. And pretty much Stephanie just tells Kristen to set her boundaries with Mitch in regards to the lifestyle because I guess it's such a big thing for Mitch, obviously. And even Stephanie, I forgot what compromise she did, but she's even being very cautious and conscious of the way she does things, but she still uses disposable diapers. Stephanie, you are your own person. You and your husband live your own lives. Just because Mitch does things a certain way doesn't mean you guys have to do things a certain way. I understand. Since you guys are family, you're going to have to hear his mouth. But then at the end of the day, it's your house, is the way you want to live. Let it be that. You shouldn't, if you want to be conscious and do what he wants to do, by all means, go about it. But I don't know, the way she was saying it just seemed like she didn't really want to do it, but she only did it just so she stopped hearing him talk. It's your house, it's your lifestyle. You live the life the way you want to live. If Mitch has a problem, oh well, that's your life is not his life. So he can do that for himself to better help the planet. But Stephanie, I just feel like you don't really want to do it. And if you don't really want to do it, then don't do it. But that's the only advice she really gives to Kristen. We move on to Lindy and Miguel. They go axe throwing, and Miguel sucks. And then, Lindy's kind of like, ha ha, I beat you. But when I was watching it, I'm like, Lindy, you have an axe. Miguel has a shovel. How the heck was that supposed to work? Was the edge, the tip of the shovel, so strong that it could penetrate the wall or whatever? Probably. But at the same time, don't be all like, oh, ha, 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 I did it and you didn't, when you're the one with the axe and he's the one with the shovel. And I was surprised this was not brought up in their little sit down after the axe throwing, because for Miguel it wasn't even axe throwing, it was shovel throwing, whereas Lindy, you had axe throwing. He couldn't even hit the wall with the shovel that he was throwing. So for that, I don't know if I was the only one that noticed that, but for me I was like, you won by default, Lindy. But whatever. They sit down to talk and of course overanalyze on Miguel's part about the future and love and loveless marriages. So Lindy was getting stressed out about it because she's just like, well, if there's problems in the relationship, you just work it out. And then Miguel, for him, is just like, he's not going to be doing that for too long before he's just like, I can't do this no more. So, of course, Lindy was like stressing and being triggered. And then for me, I'm just like, why are we, this is the problem with y'all. Y'all talk too much about, oh, what's going to happen when we get into our first debacle, or overthinking about the future. Can we just live life? Like, I'm more of on Nate's perspective. Like, we're in this, obviously we're married as opposed to just dating, so it brings a higher meaning to what we're doing. But be in the moment, just live like you would normally date. Obviously you guys are married, so it's different, but at the same time, to keep talking about what ifs in the future, can we just live life as if we were dating so we could get to that point of, okay, when we get to our first argument, we should both be grown adults to try to work through that argument. Or, for the kids, later on down the line, okay, like, yes, we want kids. How soon and stuff, we can start planning, but just date. That's the part. It's like everything doesn't always have to be a conversation of, oh, How's it gonna be when we have our first argument? Or, is the love gonna be lost when we get into that riffraff? Just, y'all overthinking too much, in my personal opinion. But what else is new with them? Is if it's not Lindy, it's Miguel. If it's not Miguel, it's Lindy. So we move on to Justin. He sits down with Alexis's friend Will, and pretty much Will said they're both scared and all that stuff. Justin is the guy that Alexis wants or needs. Everything about Justin, that's what Alexis likes and all that stuff. And then Justin over here blushing and stuff, and I'm just like, Will, are you sure? Are we talking about the same Alexis here? Because you saying all this stuff, but I don't agree. Did Alexis tell you to tell him that or something? I don't know. He might be trying to be the mediator in the situation, but I'm just like, well, no. Come on. Will, no. You know that's not the case. But of course, Justin gonna be smiling about it. I guess he's afraid of Alexis quitting on him because he deals too much about that in the past, where girls always wanted to leave him. So I guess he's traumatized from that. And someone from Twitter made up a good point. He said when they had the little session with Dr. Pia with all the other couples that his past relationships is not bleeding into his current relationship, but clearly from what he made in this statement, it is saying his past relationship is bleeding into his current relationship. But for him, he is not. Okay. But Will, he doesn't say it, but from what the context clues that I picked up from what he was saying was just for Justin to hang in there. I don't really know the purpose of these people sitting with their spouses, family, and friends, because it doesn't seem like any resolution or, no resolution or anything comes up, or good advice, in my opinion, comes up with them. They just tell them to hang in there and, communicate, which is something they should have been doing from jump. It's just, to waste TV time on here, to make it stretched for 2 hours when it didn't really need to stretch for 2 hours. But we move on to the experts, including Devon Franklin. And I feel like this is going to be the only episode we get of Devon Franklin. They are meeting with the couples. This is the couple's last chance to meet with the experts before decision day. They only met with you guys like 2-3 times. They met with Dr. Pia twice. They met with Dr. Pepper once. And Pastor Cal once. So they only met with you guys. This is their 5th time out of 2 months meeting with you guys. I think they should do weekly visits. They should do weekly. I forgot how often they did it in the beginning of the seasons. But I feel like ever since what happened in 2020 done happen, technically beginning of November, I feel like the experts was like, yeah, we're not going to be seeing you as much. Because I feel like before season 11, they was always meeting up with them, talking with them to get through issues and stuff. But now it's like, yeah, we're too busy focused on the next season and putting together who gonna be married to who, that we don't really have time to be sitting with you guys to help you guys figure out y'all stuff, because we're already on to the next. So this is the last time they're gonna see them, that we're probably gonna see them before decision day. I wish that meant that decision day was next week, but no. Next week they do the annual couples retreat before decision day thing. That looked like it's going to be a disaster, but we're on this episode. So first to sit down, because they do it, not them all together. I wish it would have been all 3 of them together, because I feel like it would have been more productive if all 3 of them was together meeting with each couple. But it looks like they pick and choose which ones they sat down with, and Devon only sat down with one couple. So anyway, Dr. Pepper, she sits down with who goes first, Kristen and Mitch. And of course, they're going through all what they done transpired in the relationship and how they're feeling about it. Mitch is an extreme environmentalist and pretty much telling Kristen, I don't know if you can live with that, with the way I am. And Dr. Pepper asks her if she can do that. Kristen says she doesn't know if she can support Mitch's lifestyle. Then it goes to commercial for dramatic effect, comes back from commercial for dramatic effect, and Mitch says that he's trying to see how he can be himself, but in a more respectful way because he's very blunt with how he feels and to explain how he feels and the reasoning of why he feels the way he feels. And Kristen just wants him to let his guard down and let her in, so to speak. She don't say that word for word. I'm just paraphrasing. And they both state that they're both open to falling in love and they kiss. So it seems like it ends off on a good note. But once again, I personally feel that they're just kind of sort of not even rubbing it, but dusting their issues under the rug. But we're gonna see it blows up in Mitch's face later on when Kristen has her not even outburst, but finally just lets Mitch have it and lets it boil up. Granted, I just think she should have just been real from the jump because he was keeping it real with you, Kristen, so you should have kept it real with him. But this is case in point. When you hold things in and it gets for high, it gets to a point where it's already tipping over and explodes like a volcano. And you did it in a better way than Lindy will do it next week, Kristen. So I'll give you that. So we move on to Stasha and Nate. They meet up with Pastor Cal. Stasha is always so happy and so, showing all her whites whenever she sees Pastor Cal. And here we go again. Oh, we're wearing the same color, pink. And I think they were wearing the same color last time when he met up with them at the apartment. So she's all happy and smiles. And I guess Pastor Cal brought up something about the sex toys that they received at the door, how that went. And he felt a little embarrassed about even mentioning it. And then Nate was like, oh, you're not a freak, Pastor Cal? Nate, you think he gonna answer? Pastor Cal just looking at him like, I'm not gonna answer. I'm just gonna give a little smile. What me and my wife do behind closed doors is what we do. Nate, I know you're trying to get Pastor Cal to loosen up a little bit, but he not gonna do that, okay? But kudos to you for trying, I guess. But then we go into, obviously, their marriage and what they've been going through. I don't need a recap because I feel like we do this every week. So, I'm just going to try to just get to the points that, I feel like was mentionable. That's mentionable for this scenes and the scenes to come in this episode. And Stasha, she loves Nate. And Nate knows that. She's told Nate this, but he hasn't told her. Now, what me and Twitter is trying to understand here is this out of context? Did they put these scenes out of context? Because first off, in the beginning on the honeymoon, he said he was falling in love with her. But then when they got back, he talking about he's a 4 out of 10. Then it comes to where he said he's falling in love with her. Or he's really in like with her, or whatever he said. And then I could have sworn last episode or the episode before, he says that, he does love her and he's falling in love with her at the winery or whatever for their 1-month anniversary. So Stasha was all happy. Now we're at the point where he's saying he has not yet told her he loved her. Like, I'm confused. Like, it's like you're saying you are, but then you don't. But then you're saying you're getting to there, and then you say you are, but then now you don't. I don't understand what's going on. If they're putting the scenes out of context to confuse us on purpose. But supposedly in this episode, he has not yet told Stasha that he loves her, and that's an issue for her. And I guess Pastor Cal is wondering where that's coming from, and he goes from Nate to Stasha. So he brings up the whole cheating because I guess Nate has a hard time trusting or falling in love because he's afraid of being hurt. So when he goes to Stasha and asks her, you've been hurt in your past, she says yes. And he's like, and you haven't cheated, I'm sure. And she's like, oh, no, I have. But that was 10 years ago. But because she says she has, Nate's looking at her like, wait, hold up. Wait, what? You what? And Pastor Cal asks how Nate feels about that. Nate is feeling disappointed. And I think that's all he said in that scene, that he just feels disappointed that she cheated. Stasha was like, that was 10 years ago, and she's upset because she doesn't like the fact that she's being judged right now. Nate, we can't, I understand some things that people do in the past is like a little side-eye, but to the point where he's like disappointed, and I feel like he's going to drag this for the rest of the episode, which he kind of didn't do. It is not all that necessary. Listen, a lot of people done did stuff in their past. Nate, you did stuff in your past. So to be judging Sasha for that, for something she did a decade ago, I don't think it was necessary for that reaction. It's one thing to be like, "Well, dang," well, I'm glad you got past that, and from what she said, it seems like she learned from her mistake. So just I hope moving forward, we don't have to, visit that again. But, that's good to know. I don't know. I just don't know because I feel like a lot of people was like, "Oh, Nate's not that serious." But I feel like if roles were reversed and Nate said he cheated in the past, people will be looking at him side eye too. So for me, something 10 years ago that you done did that you said you learned from, I will take you at face value for that, and I will keep you to your word. And the moment you show me that you're not a part of your word, then we're gonna have an issue. But until then, it's just like, okay, that's your past. I'm not gonna have your past, affect our future moving forward until you give me a reason to show that it's gonna affect our future. So, Nate, let it go, bro. And if roles were reversed, I would tell Stasha, listen, let it go. Just like she need to let this "I love you" thing go, even though I could have sworn he said it like an episode or two ago. I don't understand what these producers doing. But after that, we get to Miguel sits with Lindy's friend Stephanie, and I guess Miguel told her that they already said that they loved each other. Stephanie thinks it's gross. Once again, I don't understand these people. Like, why does love make everybody so ill? Like, I don't know about that. If someone loves someone, what is the big deal about that? Why is that gross? And it's not just Stephanie. We have Alexis. I think there was someone else who's kind of looking at love like, ew. You guys, I don't know if you guys are doing that to be funny, but for me, I'm just like, it's not. People love each other all the time. There's plenty of people who get into a relationship and say they love each other like the next day. So why y'all need to figure out why love makes you guys so cringy and gross. That seems like a you thing, not a general thing. But anything else to take from this scene with her? No, they just both agreed that whenever Lindy gets triggered, she gets defensive and negative. And Miguel doesn't say this word for word, but as I paraphrase, he just said it's a red flag that Lindy gets that way a lot of the times. And they show a little bit of the flashbacks of when she was being negative or defensive whenever she gets triggered, so to speak. So the friend didn't give no advice. She just looked like she understood, and we move on. We get to Alexis and Justin. They sit down with Devon Franklin. It looks like Alexis was very happy that she got Devon Franklin to sit down with them. She looked like she admired Devon Franklin's looks, and she admired him even more because it seemed like he took her side versus Justin's side. So Alexis says that she feels smothered in the marriage. How she feel that way, I don't know. But Devon suggests that they do some freeing activities together because he's asking Justin, are you okay with her being free or whatever, so to speak? Justin says yes. And he's asking, okay, what does she like to do? And she's saying stuff that she likes to do. He's asking Justin, do you like to do these things? Justin, of course, going to say yes. And I'm just looking at him like, really? You sure? Or are you just saying this just to be on Alexis' good side? Okay, whatever. So he says yes. And Devon was like, okay, maybe they just need to do those freeing activities together. And then we bring up the whole club situation. And Justin admits that he doesn't like her going to the club because he's afraid of losing her. So then Alexis was like, I'm so proud of you because of the fact that he admitted that he's insecure. Okay, I get whatever. Devon's just like, well, if you feeling that way with her at the club, then it's going to turn to the gym. Then it's going to turn to the library. Then it's going to turn to that. So Justin in the confessional is telling us like, oh, Devon helped him to realize that he's controlling more or less. He don't say that word for word. I'm just paraphrasing. But I disagree. I don't think you feeling concerned that your wife is going to the club every weekend means that you're controlling. Because at the end of the day, she's still going to the club on the weekends. You're just expressing your concern that she's going every weekend. He didn't say that he doesn't want her going at all. That's a whole different thing. If he were to be like, no, you can never go to the club with your friends, do this and that, then I can understand like, okay, bro, you kind of pushing it a little bit. But he just says, I don't feel comfortable with her going to the club with her every weekend. Why can't you guys go do bowling or something? He's I could have sworn he said that last episode. So, Devon, I know you ain't talking, bro, because listen, the club is a whole different dynamic than bowling, even though some bowling alleys be giving club vibes. But that's neither here nor there. Okay. The club is a whole different scenario. She talking about 2 hours. Me, and other people who review this show, we all said ain't no damn 2 hours that she going to the club. She probably just said that just to make it seem like it wasn't that bad. Ain't no 2 hours. You going to the club for why? I understand to take a load off. Plenty of people do it, even though they're in relationships and married. Understandably so. But to go every weekend, yes, I can see how that could look like. It's kind of questionable. So, Justin, listen, don't just listen to Devon just because he said it's controlling don't mean it is controlling, okay? That's just his personal opinion. And that is an opinion. That's not a fact. That is an opinion. I personally don't think that means Justin's controlling. I just think that just makes him kind of like, okay, is there something wrong with me? Why you don't want to hang out with me? You always got to go with your friends every weekend. But at the end of the day, Justin, she don't even like you like that. So just take it for face value what it is and just ride it through until decision day and just be done. Okay. I think you know this by now, but you don't want to accept it, but you're going to have to accept it because she going to say no on decision days. Okay. We then talk about intimacy with them too. Alexis wants to be dominated. Justin, says he can do it and he would do it if the energy is right. I don't remember what Devon said in regards to that, but all I got to say is, Justin, you said the energy doesn't feel right. Okay, create that energy. Not that you could really create that energy because she probably still going to say no, but I think through the sneak peek that they showed us last week, they're going to consummate the marriage eventually at the couples retreat. So none of this even matters of what I'm saying right now. But maybe try to create the energy. And then I would ask Alexis, if he were to create that energy, would you then be more prone to letting go and letting him dominate you in, romantically in the bedroom? And she might just say yes just for the heck of it to go along with the rest of this marriage. But we move on to Devon. Last thing he says is some analysis of marriage is like a mirror and both of them are naked in that mirror. Okay, Devon, I see this is kind of going nowhere in my personal opinion. Not saying he don't have valid points, but once Justin analyzed that Devon was saying he's controlling and Devon kind of insinuated that or implied that from what he was saying, I was like, okay, I'm checked out from this scene. So that's that. That's really all of we get from Devon, because even in the other scene when he shows up again, he's not even talking really. He don't even really say nothing. So I know some people think these experts do a great job, and maybe they do when cameras are not rolling and they're not prompted to say something, and when they're really in their craft one-on-one or one-on-two with a couple behind closed doors with no camera, it's not broadcasted for national TV for entertainment. Probably, maybe so. But I just personally feel, since they have to get through these scenes quickly, I just feel it's not really effective the way that it could be. Devon could be a great counselor for his church and all that stuff, but in these scenes, in these moments, I don't feel like these experts are doing justice, especially for this season. We move on to Dr. Pepper. Speaking of experts not doing justice, every time Morgan comes on the screen, I'm just like, when is this scene gonna be over? Like, I really want to go to the next scene. So Dr. Pepper sits down with Morgan and Ben, and Morgan, to prove to us, we don't need no proving, Morgan. Okay, we're over you. Okay, we're over it, and she want to show us in a confessional that she a real nurse. She's like, hey, look, guys. Look, it says it right here. For the state of California, I'm a registered nurse. You don't have to Google this. This is public information. Thank you, Morgan. Thank you. Thank you. We weren't asking, but thank you. We don't care. I don't care. All the other YouTube reviewers don't care. America doesn't care. Ben don't even care by now. The experts probably didn't even really care when you told them. No one cares but you. Okay, you're the only one who's so disturbed by this thing. Ben already said he's over it. His friends already told you Ben's over it. Like, why are we still bringing up this nursing issue? We don't care. So you did all that to say what? You want to be the AT&T girl? Because that's who you're looking like right now, showing us your damn phone. We don't care, Morgan. Move on. I'm done. So she still doesn't believe Ben's apology. And the reason for that is because he hasn't done it himself and in private. Morgan, even if he wanted to give you a private apology, you probably would say no, you're not going to meet with him in private just for him to tell you off even more. Like, you're going to make up some excuse why you don't feel safe to talk to him in private for him to apologize. Because now you just, every time we get to this, you bring up something else of what he needs to do. And Ben don't need to do. I'm pretty sure if you told him to do it, he would find a way to do it. But at this point, Morgan, stop it. And Dr. Pepper could see that Ben's flustered. Obviously, she asked him a few questions, and he's, stuttering up a storm, like he usually do. Dr. Pepper says she wants him to be happy, and asks if there's any way they can have a friendship. Morgan said no, the friendship is not reconstructible on her end because she needs trust to even be friends with someone. Yeah, okay. So you're saying you trust all the girls? So everybody you talk to, you trust them? Or do you just consider everybody acquaintances and only a few people friends? If that's the case, Morgan, whatever. Bye. We're so over you. We're tired of you. Everything you say is just like we don't care. Like I'm looking at this scene. I'm just like, okay. I'm really thinking, when is this thing gonna be over? Because I'm over Morgan. I'm over Ben because Ben is just letting Morgan walk all over him like a rug or a mat outdoor where people just the outdoor mat before you walk in the house, when you just scrape your feet on it to get all the mud and the wetness off. He's a doormat. And it pisses me off that he's letting Morgan walk all over him. I'm not saying for him to be aggressive and stuff and cuss Morgan out, but just to, show her, like, listen, I'm not just going to let you just keep treating me like shit. Sorry for my vulgar language, but that's exactly what Morgan's treating him like. So Morgan said the marriage is over and she wants a divorce. And Ben agrees and says he's not ready for marriage. Okay, well, neither is Morgan. Ben, stop putting this on yourself. Stop overanalyzing it and making it seem like you're the one at fault, because you're not. I feel like both sides had faults to it, more so Morgan than Ben. But okay, at least you can agree you're not ready for marriage. I feel like a lot of people are not ready for marriage, but at the same time, a lot of people are going to try to make it work no matter what. I don't even know if I even said that right, but I feel like a lot of people that get married are not ready for marriage. Not saying they don't have the aspects of marriage life, or I don't know what I'm saying right now. Let me try to rethink this. Okay, we ain't no edits in this thing. We just gonna go with the punch. We're rolling. Let me try to rephrase it. Okay, a lot of people who get married, I feel like, are not ready for marriage. However, it's just a matter of realizing your faults to work through your marriage versus, okay, I'm just going to stop here because this is not working out. Now, Ben, yes, you do need therapy. That doesn't mean that you couldn't have ended on good terms in a marriage. It's just they chose the wrong person for you. If you were to be matched with anybody else, then you probably would realize, dang, I didn't realize marriage took so much. And you would have realized, yeah, I wasn't ready for marriage, but because me and my wife are so dedicated to this process, we're going to work through this and be ready for marriage together. I hope I said that in a more understanding way than I was saying the past 30, 45 seconds. Okay, I'm sorry. Morgan just, okay. So she's not ready. She wants a divorce. He agrees he needs a divorce. And he talking about he's so upset because he's the only one in his family that's not a doctor, and he's the only one in his family who is getting a divorce. Ben, I mean, yes, technically you and Morgan got married, but it's okay. Relax. It's nothing. Okay, it's nothing that it's okay. We don't consider it a real marriage. Technically, maybe it may legally be on your paperwork that you were married before, but you could just tell the person to watch season 15 and be like, it's not really a real marriage. Go look at season 15, Married at First Sight. Then you'll see all you need to know. So don't worry about it. And not saying F your dad, but your mama going to defend you. So hopefully she defends you in front of your daddy and move on. Let's go to therapy. F Morgan. So we get to Kristen and Mitch. They have lunch. They talk. And looks like Mitch has come around to Kristen being to her house flipping idea of what she wants to do with her career. And, Kristen always bending over backwards for Mitch, gonna say, it's not so bad living with Mitch and his, extreme environmentalism and whatnot. Mitch talking about, it'll get worse because they're just living in a rental home now. And it's going to be different after they leave, because at his house, he don't use paper towels. Mitch, you don't use anything. He said he uses cloth and he washes it. And I'm like, where do you wash it at? Because ain't nothing clean in your house. So you just essentially just using dirty stuff. Like, you don't... Paper towels for what? For your hands? Because it don't seem like you wipe down anything, because we seen that stove. We seen the tub. So I don't think you use cloths either, Mitch. But Christian's kind of looking like, I don't mind that, but as long as I'm not the only one washing the cloths, then we should be fine. So Mitch said they're going to figure out some type of schedule for that. And while he's doing all of that, he's slurping up his noodles. The food looked good, I'm not going to lie. The food looked good, but he was slurping up every bite. Kristen looking at him like, do you always eat like that, or have I just not noticed? And I have just not noticed, or like, and he's just apologizing as he's wiping his chin and stuff. I noticed that from when he first started slurping, but would that annoy me? I don't know. It just depends. I feel like Kristen's just over Mitch and this marriage, so every little thing that he does now is going to annoy her, which I can understand. When you're just over a person, anything they do will annoy you. But at the same time, Mitch, yeah, as loud as it was coming through on the TV, if that's the way he was really slurping, like, you could slurp softer than that, Mitch. But I think Christian's just over him. And the last thing Mitch brings up, I put in my notes, is this a game for Mitch? Probably is. But the last thing he says is he likes Kristen more natural than when she's all made up. And I'm like, we talking about this again, Mitch? We bringing up this again? You like her more natural, and we don't like you when you natural. Or where you wearing your specific sandals that you like to wear, and the type of clothes you like to wear, and how you like to make it. Like, sometimes you looking sharp when you dressed up, but when you dress down, we don't like you in your natural state. We like when you dress up, Mitch, okay? So it's so funny. We like you dressed up, but you like Kristen dressed down. And he go, all right, we're going to move on. I already spoke too much. We get Nate. He's meeting up with Stasha's friends, Asha and Tamika. Nate tells him that he was disappointed and insecure about her cheating in the past, but, he's not trying to dwell on it too much, so to speak. He don't say that word for word. I'm just paraphrasing. And they bring up the whole love thing, and Tamika tries to get Nate to understand it from Stasha's perspective, and Nate just lets him know he hasn't said it yet, and he just wants to be in the moment of marriage and not just always have to, like, rush everything, which I can understand, but it looks like the friends were more trying to explain Stasha's side as opposed to trying to understand Nate's side, I feel like. And they just said if Nate hasn't said it and won't say it anytime soon, it will be detrimental to him and Stasha's relationship. They don't say that word for word, but that's what I took from what they were trying to say when they were speaking in their confessional, so to speak. If that's the case, then Stasha need to work on herself. She need to do double bookings for therapy. She needs to do double sessions, because to expect someone to force, kind of like forcing someone to say I love you within a matter of 8 weeks of knowing them, I think is a little absurd. I understand you would want that, and especially if she's feeling like that way at that point in time. But to force it, I don't agree. So we're at 11 days before the decision day. Stasha's sitting with Nate's friends, Teddy and George. Of course, they're going to talk about love. And the friends try to explain to Stasha that he has a wall up and never been in love. Stasha judges the fact that he's 35 and never been in love. Once again, I personally don't see how that's something that's weird. Yes, it's like, oh, that's unfortunate because you don't know what love feels like, and you may not be able to identify when you're in love. But I don't look at it as, oh, okay, that's just something bad or weird that you listen. Some people don't want to be in love. Y'all see, this is the problem with y'all. Okay, y'all quick to judge someone if they were in a relationship and effing up, and always be like quick to say, well, if you can't be committed to a relationship, you shouldn't be in one. So if someone decides not to even be one and just chooses to dibble and dabble and whatever punani they want to dibble and dabble in without having that committed relationship, now y'all look at him like, oh, he 35, he never been in love, and he never been in a committed relationship. That's weird. What do you want? What do you want? Everybody is different. That's why everybody is a different, they have different thumbprints. Okay, let's bring it back to school days. Okay, everybody's different. Everybody has different lives. Everybody has different upbringing, aspects, and views on lives. That's what makes us people. That's what makes us all unique in our own ways. So for him to be 35, okay, listen, now he wants to be married. Now he wants to be in a relationship. So it's good that he wasn't in one, because he probably would have cheated on the girl he was with anyway if he was in one, like Stasha did 10 years ago. So he shouldn't be judging her on that, and she shouldn't be judging him on that. Point blank, period, poo. Okay? But she's still upset that he don't love her because she don't want to be in no loveless marriage. And the friends are pretty much trying to tell her to give her time, but she don't want to hear that. Well, Stasha, you know what? You're just going to have to figure it out and go with the flow, because at the end of the day, what your issue with him you should be loving the fact that's your issue compared to all these other issues that people like Kristen is dealing with their husband. Okay, we move on. Pastor Cal sits with Lindy and Miguel. I'm trying to understand what Lindy's wearing. She looking like she going to an interview and a skiing trip at the same damn time. They talk about everything they had going on in their relationship. For the most part, it seems like it's good. Lindy said she was a little stressed with the baby. She shouldn't have been, because Miguel did 99.99999% of the work. But she said she did some of the work too, whatever. And Miguel just doesn't like that Lindy's always so negative. And Pastor Cal tells them to not forecast their doom, which I believe he's told them in the beginning of the relationship. So maybe he just needed to give them a reminder. Lindy, of course, she's like, yeah, but it might be going through one ear and out the other with Lindy. And you know how Lindy be so dramatic because she says it's so deeply a part of her. And I'm surprised she didn't say of her identity, because that's what she loved to say about her last name. But since she said that, Pastor Cal asked Miguel if he can live with her norm. It doesn't seem like Miguel answers, and then it goes to commercial. So we don't even, when it comes back from commercial for dramatic effect, we don't even go back to their scene, because it goes to Mitch Skyping Kristen's sister, Rachel. They talk about his marriage with Kristen, and I just was letting it go through. I thought I was going to say much about this until he brought up, is there any way I can say it in a nice way to Kristen that I like her in her more natural state? And I guess that triggered Rachel, like it's going to trigger Kristen, because she told him, like, well, she'd be talking to her sister, of course, and she told Kristen to find out if Mitch is the right guy for her. So she don't even help him with what he wants help with. She just like, yeah, she needs to figure out if you're the right guy for her. So I feel like that's Rachel's way of saying you ain't the right guy for her. You need to go away with your dirty self. In a nice way, of course. We move on. Everyone gets together for a pool party, and Kristen's sitting down talking with Morgan with their feet dangling in the pool. and she's annoyed because Rachel done told her what Mitch done said. So, this is the calm before the storm. Everyone then gets out of the pool and sit down together with blankets around the fire pit, maybe. I don't remember if there was a fire pit really in there. But pretty much we go couple by couple. Morgan tells everyone that they're getting a divorce and it's bittersweet, and Ben agrees. And then I forgot who asks if they can ever be friends, but Morgan tells everyone that she can never be friends with Ben because she needs that trust. And Ben said he is willing to be friends again with them. And he lets us know in the confessional that, she's going to have to forgive him in order to move on, or else that's going to weigh on her mental health. And, she needs to let it go. Yes, Ben, yes, she needs to let it go. Is she going to let it go? Probably not, because she's going to hold that with all the other people in the whole damn world who done pissed her off, betrayed her, and, lost her trust. And you're just in that ball of all those other people with her dad being at the top of the ball. Anyway, we move on to Stasha and Nate. They're good. Lindy and Miguel, they're good. Alexis and Justin, they're good. They just have to work on their intimacy a little bit, but they're good for the most part. And of course, lastly, we get to Kristen and Mitch. They ain't so good. They were talking like they was going to just let it go, but here go Alexis' messy ass, bro. Alexis, why do you do this? Like, why? Sometimes I'm just like, Alexis, this is what people be talking about. You be so quick to tell everybody's business. That's why I really want to know what the heck you said to Morgan, because it seems like you're the one who canoodled in their thing to tell her something that what's his name, Ben said, that probably blew it up more than it was. And now you kind of started this, because I feel like had you not said anything, once they went back behind closed doors, Kristen probably would have brought it up to Mitch and they would have discussed it behind closed doors. But no, you wanted to bring up, oh, did you guys ever, because I know, Mitch, you were talking in the beginning how you weren't really attracted to Kristen and you liked her more in her natural state. So have you guys gotten past that? So then everybody else is like, yeah, Mitch, how's that going? And Justin putting in his 2 cents. Justin and Alexis, y'all the 2 messy people of the season, of the cast. And it's annoying. So where we get from this? Since it was brought up, they asked Mitch how he feels now. Mitch says he doesn't know. Kristen is over it, and she kind of goes off a little bit, but not really. And then we have Nate and Stasha whisper to each other, asking if Mitch and Kristen gonna work. Stasha said they ain't gonna make it. It goes to commercial for dramatic effect, comes back from commercial for dramatic effect, and the experts all walk out except for Dr. Pia. Alexis is all smiles for Devon. And of course, he brings them up because they were the only ones he talked with. And they recap with Alexis and Justin to what they're going to do to better work their relationship, whatever. So Dr. Pepper brings up Kristen and Mitch again. And Kristen lets it all out about her current issue with Mitch, that her sister done called her, told her what Mitch done said. She didn't appreciate that. And Dr. Pepper was asking, is he attracted to Kristen? And she was like, yeah, he likes her more in her natural state. So at first, Dr. Pepper was like, okay, well, that's actually a compliment. He likes you when you're, without anything. He's saying you're very beautiful naturally without anything added to it. So she was like, so are you very attracted to her in her natural state? Here goes Mitch. I'm attracted to her. So, of course, Dr. Pepper, Pastor Cal was like, well, I mean, the way you just said it doesn't make me feel really good. So, Kristen goes off, confronts him. Of course, she gonna shed some tears about it too. And that she's very hurt. And saying that it's very horrible. It's horrible. And embarrassing of how he's, been treating her and talking about her. And Mitch is just looking flabbergasted, like, how did I get here? Well, Mitch, you got here because you opened your damn mouth. And also Alexis kind of threw you under the bus. So Kristen tells the experts that she's tired of doing her all. And pretty much that he only gets a slap on the wrist. Which she didn't say that word for word. I'm just paraphrasing. And I agree. She does everything she can to just bend over backwards for him. And he feels some type of way, and it kind of just like people, they don't really, not say not be on Kristen's side, but kind of like, okay, Mitch will get over it. Because I guess Dr. Pepper says something to the effect of, you know, appreciate that he loves you just enough. She didn't say that word for word, but it was something to that aspect. So that's why Kristen went off like, no, that's not okay. This, that. So Dr. Pepper apologizes, and Kristen says no, she needs an apology from Mitch. Mitch is looking still shocked and saying that he's blindsided. And Morgan on the side, she just nodding whenever Kristen talks, and is like, she just looking like she's so happy that somebody else might be getting a divorce other than her. And I think Alexis do what she do and always like to co-sign with Kristen or the girls or whatever. And it's like, Alexis, please can we like, sometimes like, okay, I'm not going, I don't want to be rude. I don't want to say it. Because I was about to say something disrespectful. Because like, Alexis, just shut up. Just shut up. You just talk too much. Why you always gotta get in everybody's business? Worry about your own. When are you gonna tell Justin that you don't like him and you was gonna say no from day one on decision day? From the aisle, from when you walked down the aisle, you knew he was gonna say no on decision day. So I don't want to hear you no more. Please, enough for the rest of the season, please. But we know that's not gonna be her because she's gonna be messy if she don't do nothing else. But Mitch said he's blindsided and he hasn't tried to force himself. He says in a confessional, he hasn't tried to force himself on Kristen, but just accept her. Mitch, you know that's a lie. You know that's a lie. Everybody else knows that's a lie. America knows it's a lie. Save it. So Kristen says she's done, and Pastor Cal tells them all that all of them wanted to be married and do whatever to make it work. And now here they are. No one has anything else to say. And that's where the episode ends. Yep, he right. All y'all was like, oh, you wanted the marriage so bad, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that. But at the same time, experts, you gotta know too. They just say that to get on the show. They say that to get on the TV show. Do they mean it? Not all of them. Some of them, yes, but others they just want to be chosen. That's all it is. So yeah, granted, a lot of them, like Morgan, they just get divorced for no reason. But at the same time, that's your fault too for choosing two random people. You always want to choose opposites. Sometimes you might need to choose people who are alike. People that are alike can clash too, but I feel like you get farther if they're alike versus if they're different. But, that's nothing new. We know how these these producers, because I feel like the experts don't do nothing, but how these producers do for the TV show for entertainment, even though we don't like it as entertainment, we want to see the love, like season 11 with Armani and Woody and their new baby that looks so beautiful. But anyway, that's it. That's the end of the episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe and comment whatever you think, because at this point, everybody effed up in this season. Everybody. That's it. I'll see you next week. Bye, guys.